afternoon, my MPP peeps. Well, today was, it looked like we were going to roll over, but look what happened. So remember I said I'm looking for a pullback to one of these three areas, the 0.236, the 0.382, or the 0.5. And from the retraces are from this low to this high. Well, we got this 0.236 and it seems to be holding. We held here, and we're holding here again. That's interesting. So maybe, once we get over this downtrend line right here, the buying comes back in and we finally get to our 36.65 target. So I want to see how we do tomorrow. Do we get continuation and bust through this downtrend line? Or is this just a one-day event where we cut below the 10 SMA and then held it, but then they let it go in the coming days? I want to make sure before I jump back into longs, I want to make sure I'm on the right side of the trade. All right, because it's been pretty iffy the last week. It's been a little bit of a up and down, which is fine as long as it remains up and down and we go sideways, building a bull flag off of this move. I'm fine with a long consolidation before moving higher. But if we get an up, down, and then all of a sudden we start getting below these lows, we start getting below 35.11, that 35.18, 35.10 area, well, then we have to start looking for a possible move lower to this 34.88, 34.39. And I would rather not be long into more pullback. I would rather wait for the price to set up, everything, the plays that I'm watching to trigger long and then get long, okay, when the odds are in my favor. Right now, I still think it's a be patient, wait and see, and not try to force things. So let's see how we react tomorrow. The Qs are still piddling around in this 292 area, which is fine. We're still holding the 10 SMA. It got back above it today. 10 SMA is at 290.35. So we closed a little bit below it yesterday. We overtook it today, but still, if you draw a little line here, we got a little downtrend line forming. Not quite over it yet. Let's see what we get tomorrow. If we get a move up and we close above this downtrend line, well, I'm willing to maybe jump in a couple longs in the dip buying system to see if we're finally ready to rally again to all-time highs of this 316, 330. But still, as long as we're below this downtrend line and we're just kind of chopping around sideways, I would rather be out, because chop can all of a sudden become a pullback, a further pullback, okay? Or chop could become a breakout higher. I would rather wait to see what the market is going to decide on the other side of this chop instead of trying to guess. Let's look at the VIX. VIX is saying nothing to be worried about. Okay. The buyers are foreseeing no volatility in the short term, which is good. The longer we stay below and keep grinding below, getting below, even below this 20, I would love to get below this 20, like I keep saying. But still, I'm pretty happy with it below this 23, 24 area. It's below this 10 SMA, which is at 23.90. Below that 23.90, it's a good spot for the bulls that if they ever want to take the ball and start running higher again. This VIX is saying that there's no foreseen volatility in the short term, and they can take the ball whenever they want. We just have to wait until they actually get an appetite to buy again. You guys have to remember, we've had a huge run up. And there's a lot of investors out there that's like, man, we just had this enormous run up. Everyone's in long now. Do I really want to take the chance for more upside when I've already made all this money? Do I want to put any more risk on? And that's what people are wrestling with right now. And we'll just have to see who wins out. Some names in case buyers do come back in. I still like this Apple. If we start breaking down trend lines in the indices above 122 is a contender for me to get long. And like I said, guys, I've already made my P&L goal for the year. So I'm not going to be loading the boat anymore. I'm going to be taking fewer trades and probably what I feel are the most high quality ones. And probably, for the rest of November, I'm probably only going to take maybe, 2-3 longs at a time in the dip buying system. I just want to play it safe. I want to make the money where I can, but I don't want to load the boat because all those indicators that I've showed you, those more intermediate, longer term indicators are starting to flash hot signals. And at any point, if there's any kind of selling impetus, there will be a quick flush down because we have so many people now long that there are way fewer buyers than there are sellers if there is selling news. All right. Way more, there'll be way more sellers at this point than buyers. So I just want you guys to know that, and it's why I'm being a little more cautious until we get that bigger flush. But that does not mean we can't go higher in the short term. We could keep melting up. And in case we do keep melting up, I have some longs that I'm watching, and Apple is one of them. AMD, great looking breakout today. And this probably be the first one I get long tomorrow if we break down trend lines on the Qs. We break that downtrend line that I just showed you on the Qs, this one right here, and we start to march higher, and it looks like, hey, maybe they've defended this 10 SMA successfully and we're heading up. This AMD will be the first I buy because we've broken this downtrend line. Look at this AMD. Broken this downtrend line, starting to get back above this high right here, back above the 10 SMA, volume a little greater than the last few trading sessions. This could be a go to 104. Really like the look of this breakout. Another one, CMG, starting to finally creep back. CMG is another one. If the general indices start breaking their downtrend lines, and it looks like we're going to head higher, and CMG also breaks this downtrend line right here, this is one I would like to look at to get long for this run to 1510. We've been stalking it a while. It just hadn't worked out yet, but maybe if the bottom is in the market and they're ready to buy, we could finally be ready to head higher. We got plenty of consolidation. Plenty of consolidation here. This is 3 months of consolidation nearly. So this one's ready to break out. And then this DKNG, I sold this one along with everything in the dip buying system. But I mean, this one still is looking good. And if we could get a little bit of a pullback and then another break of the downtrend line, this is one that I'm watching again for a re-entry long. And then PENN is setting up well. I would like just a little bit of a breather to see this RSI is at 86 right now, 85. So I'd like a little bit of a breather to let this RSI settle. And then, once the indices break out, I think this PENN is a good one too to head to its higher targets of 86 and 91. We're well above the downtrend line now, well above the 10 SMA. We could just get it to sit a little bit, work off those overbought levels. It's a great play. And then this run's another one I had before I sold everything in the dip buying system, but it's still setting up nicely above this 10 SMA. So this is another one I'm watching, and WYNN. WYNN is It's a reopening play. It's holding this uptrend line. Let me draw it all the way higher here. Holding this uptrend line nicely, holding the 10 SMA. We've broken this downtrend line, and it looks like it might want to head higher to this 107 target. So this is another one. If the indices are heading higher tomorrow, this is another one I might jump in to go for this 107. So those are the names I'm looking at. Bonnie, let's look at Labu. You wanted to look at Labu. Nice looking chart. You know, we had this top right here, which we are now retesting. Came down, tested the 200 SMA, held, retested the 200 SMA, and is now looking to head higher. For me, you want to get long this name. I think it's a decent spot. So let's draw some fibs. So from this high to this low, I'll be looking for a 1.618 retracement, which is right at 94.83. That will be my target in the short term. And for me, a trigger would be a move above this high, and that was yesterday's high of 77.01. So, you know, that is $5 away. So if you wanted to get long, if you wanted to take the chance, you could, but I would just do it at a third position and then stop yourself out on a close below the 10 SMA, which right now is at 69.83. And then if you get above the 77.01, add the other 2/3. Okay, that would be my suggestion if you wanted to get in now. Scale in, don't go all the way in, and then add as you move higher. But yeah, this one looks good. I mean, nice consolidation, and you're retesting these highs. It's trying to break out. And then Lulu, Dan, Lulu, you know, it looks good, but you only have 12 days till earnings. You draw this little downtrend line right here. It's testing it, okay? And you got your 0.618 retrace from this high to this low is right here at 356. As you can see, it boom, knocked its head against it, came down, boom, knocked its head against it, and is now right up against this downtrend line. So your bet is that in 12 days, unless you want to hold through earnings, and you believe you've spent enough money at Lulu that it is going to crush, you know, that is yeah, exactly. That's entirely up to you. Yeah, mine too, man. Mine too. That's entirely up to you. But you know, I don't know if it's going to have enough buyers before earnings to bust through this 0.618 and head higher and make it worth the trade. But if you're willing to hold through earnings, this is a good setup. All right. And I would just make your stop, if you do hold through earnings, make your stop a close below the 10 SMA. But for me, I wouldn't take this trade just because we're so close to earnings. We're at resistance points. And really the only way for upside is a stellar earnings report at this point. It needs that fuel, I think, to get above this little consolidation period. All right, anything else, guys? Any other questions? Should we depress ourselves and look at the Bitcoin? Let's do it. 18,029. I still think, you know, this RSI is starting to break out a little bit. You know, we still have some divergence. It's just getting less. I still think there's going to be a pullback. It just feels like all of dumb money is now in too. You know, you had the smart money loading in here, smart money, and it feels like this run is now the dumb money piling on. But, you know, what do I know? It could continue to run higher to 20, 25. So, but I'm just staying on the sidelines. I know this thing's going higher, but I would rather buy it on a dip when retail gets scared when they go, oh no, not again. My entire life savings, Bitcoin's taking it again. Because you remember retail back here, guys. Let me show you when retail got all in. Okay. It was, oh, let's go to the monthly. I remember back in 2018 when all of my friends were getting long Bitcoin in their entire life savings, and they were getting long right about here. All right, right into the teeth of this move up, and then crash. A lot of my friends got hurt here. So we'll just see how it reacts to these highs again, because we're right back there. We're right back to the last crash. And my thinking is they scare retail again to think, oh no, they got me again. I'm getting out before I lose everything again. And then that's when buyers come back in and we head higher. So I'm looking for that type of move. Yeah, buddy of mine. Yeah. Oh man. Nice. All right, guys, but that's it. That's all I got. Any other questions? Are you planning to take partial profit in Sono soon? So I'm let's look at Sono. I'll show you what I did, Bonnie. I sold the 20 calls. All right, going into earnings, I was already up, I think, 30 or 40% in this name. So I sold the 20 calls and bought the 14 puts just in case earnings missed and we sunk. But we exploded higher, and now I'm short those 20 calls. I'm going to be called out at 20 of my full position. I'm fine with that. It is a huge winner. I think I made 60% on this trade. And now my plan is to let it settle, come back down a little bit, and then start selling puts at a more reasonable level around 18. That's where I would like to get back in, around 18. So once it starts to settle and starts to dip a little bit, I'll start selling those puts, and then I'll keep rolling those puts, taking those profits, rolling those puts until I finally get put in to the long common around 18 again. It's the same thing I'm doing with GoGo right now and Roku. Selling puts at the level I want to be put in and continuing to roll those puts each month, taking profit until I finally get put in the common shares at the level that I want. Does that make sense? Cool, Bonnie. All right, guys. I'm gonna wake up and do the stretch tomorrow. I will be up in the morning because if this market continues to rally, there are plays like AMD to jump on to make profit if we're going to continue to rally higher. So I'm definitely if the bottom's in and we start to break down trend lines, I'm taking the no trade the no trade governor off, and we'll be trading again if this market shows it's ready to go back up. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be interesting. Always is. Fridays are always fun. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, don't trade for thrills. Just consistently make those dollar bills. See you guys.